Sometimes the biggest, most profound ideas are hidden in the plainest sight. Today, we're going to dive into one of those. We're going to unpack the mystery behind the very first thing God ever blessed. And trust me, this is a story that starts at the very beginning of creation and just keeps echoing all the way into eternity.
So let's just jump right in with a question. What do you think was the very first thing God ever blessed? I mean, really think about it. Was it humanity, the animals, the earth itself? The answer might actually surprise you, and it kind of challenges what we assume God values most.
And here it is. The answer is probably not what you're thinking. It wasn't a creature, it wasn't a place, it was a moment. It was stillness. The very first blessing, right at the dawn of time, was an invitation to just stop and be still with God. That one single idea, that's the core of everything we're going to explore.
So our whole investigation really kicks off with this one verse, right at the beginning of the story, Genesis chapter 2, verse 3. It says, "And God blessed the seventh day and sanctified it, because that in it he had rested from all his work which God created and made." I mean, they sound like simple words, right? But they have absolutely cosmic implications. Okay, so to really get our heads around this, we've got to do a little decoding. We need to go back to the original blueprint, which means digging into the original Hebrew words to see what this whole concept is really built on. So the Hebrew word for blessed here is barach. You have to understand, in Hebrew, this is not just a nice sentiment. It's not just have a nice day. It is an act of power. It means to empower something, to assign it a purpose, to literally fill it with life and declare that it's sacred. So when God blesses the seventh day, he's stamping it with a divine identity and purpose.
And it doesn't even stop there. The verse also says God sanctified the day. The Hebrew word for that is kadash, which means to set something apart, to elevate it, to literally clothe it in holiness. So this isn't just another Tuesday. This is a portion of time that has been fundamentally changed and made holy.
Now, when you put it side by side like this, wow, it really stands out. On days 1 through 6, God is working, right? He's making stuff, and his blessing is on the creation, the things he made. But then you get to day 7, and the whole thing flips. The activity isn't work, it's rest. And the blessing isn't on a thing, it's on time itself. It's like God built a holy pause, a sacred interruption into the very fabric of the universe. The ancient Jewish sages had this beautiful way of putting it. This quote from a text called Bereshit Rabbah says that the world was actually incomplete until rest was added to it. So think about that. Rest isn't just the absence of work. It's the very thing that makes creation whole. It's the final crowning piece of the puzzle. Okay, so we've established this day is incredibly special. But the concept, it doesn't just stay a 24-hour block on the calendar. It evolves. It grows into something deeply personal, something relational. You see, in Jewish tradition, the Sabbath, or Shabbat, isn't an it. It's treated with the kind of reverence you'd give to a person, like royalty even. It's called a bride, a queen, the very crown of creation. And these aren't just pretty poems. They're designed to frame the Sabbath as a divine encounter. It's a relationship you enter into. And this is where things take a massive turn in Christianity. Jesus steps onto the scene and makes this absolutely audacious claim. He says, "I am Lord of the Sabbath." He's not getting rid of the idea. He's saying that it finds its ultimate, final fulfillment in him. The rest isn't just a day anymore. It's a person you can know. This brings about a huge shift in how we're supposed to approach our lives. The old pattern, the Adam pattern, was you work first to earn your rest. You have to prove yourself. But the new pattern, it's the complete opposite. You first rest in your identity, in who you are, and then you work, not for approval, but from a place of deep purpose.
All right, if you thought that was a big idea, let's zoom out. Way, way out. Because this pattern of 6 days of work, followed by 1 day of rest, well, in some interpretations, it's seen as more than a weekly cycle. It's viewed as a prophetic blueprint for the entire sweep of human history.
And the key that supposedly unlocks this prophetic timeline is found in the New Testament. It's in 2 Peter chapter 3, and it says that with the Lord, a day is like 1,000 years, and 1,000 years are like a day. This little principle becomes a kind of prophetic lens to look through.
So when you apply that lens, you get this incredible prophetic timeline. The 6 days of work are mapped onto 6,000 years of human history. You've got early humanity, the age of the patriarchs, the time of the law and the kingdom, the prophets, the first advent, and the church age. And according to this view, all of that work is leading up to a final seventh day, a 1,000-year Sabbath rest, what's often called the millennium. It's a truly breathtaking way to look at history.
Now, that is all fascinating, kind of mind-bending theology. But what does it mean for you and me right now? Let's bring this whole concept down to earth and look at the practical takeaway, which is seeing rest as a living, breathing reality.
So the idea here is that rest isn't a luxury. It's not just a nice suggestion. It's a core spiritual strategy. It's literally part of our design. It's what protects our identity from being tangled up in what we do. It's what quiets all the noise out there so we can actually hear what matters. And get this, it's even framed as a form of spiritual warfare against the anxiety and fear that try to run our lives. So how do we actually live this out? Well, it kind of boils down to 3 actionable things. First, you have to consciously choose to rest in your identity, to find your value in who you are, not what you produce. Second, you have to intentionally make space for God. Sanctify that time for stillness, just like He did. And third, live with eternity in mind. Let this weekly rhythm be a constant reminder of the bigger story and the ultimate rest that's still to come.
And that really brings us to this final thought that just wraps it all up so perfectly. The Sabbath is creation's crown. It's the Torah's command, it's a relationship in Christ, and it's the promise of Revelation's eternity. It's this one single, beautiful thread running through the entire story, from the very first page to the absolute last. So maybe the rest we're all so desperately searching for isn't just a break from work, but the very purpose for which we were made.